All right, we're live. What's up, guys? Hope you're having a good Monday morning, or whatever time it is where you're coming from. So today we're gonna do more reading because reading's good. So I think last we left off was on Friday, and we were just getting into free will a little bit. Let me see if I can find where it was. Here we go. Okay. There's an interesting quote here. Excuse me. Okay. So this quote reads, the use or misuse of his cognitive faculty determines a man's choice of values, which determines his emotions and his character. It is in this sense that man is a being of self-made soul. Okay, what does that mean? So, the use or misuse of his cognitive faculty, I think in this instance, cognitive faculty just means free will, or directing one's consciousness. That determines a man's choices of values. So, if you misuse free will, what you focus on and the questions you focus on will determine your values. So, if you decide to sit down and try and figure out what your values are, and like you put in like like you set an intention. I am going to write down my values and write down the reasons why I value those things. That is using your free will. You're setting an intention and you're focusing your mind on answering that question or those questions. And while you don't this is weird. I'm wrestling with this right now. You don't control what your mind comes up with. You don't control the values your mind comes up with directly. You simply control the process of coming up with the values. Like you can flip the on switch to focus, but you can't choose what your mind produces. Which is that's weird. I don't know what to think of that. That's really weird. It's really cool. It's like your mind's a conduit, or you're a conduit in a sense. But you like when you're talking with someone and you're really focused on having a good conversation, you don't really know, you don't know what your mind's going to produce or what thoughts you're going to have, but you can direct your attention toward having a good conversation or discovering truth or something like that, and your mind's going to produce stuff. And you can analyze the thoughts your mind produces, but you can't control the thoughts directly. Like you can't say beforehand, I'm going to have a specific thought. You just have the thought. It's weird. But anyways, so we direct our mind toward figuring out our values. That determines our values, at least indirectly. And our values determine our emotions, because emotions are a response to your values. So what would be an example? If you value your friend and your friend screws you over, you're going to feel like shit and angry and frustrated and betrayed because you valued that friendship. And if it's a random stranger who screws you over, you'll probably still feel angry, but not nearly to the same degree because that person wasn't as much of a value to you. And that's the same reasoning for any value. So values determine your emotions and they determine your character. Now character is an interesting one. What is character exactly? I feel like character is like your virtues. Your values determine your character. Okay, I don't exactly know what character means. So I'm going to look it up. I have a vague sense. It's like your values, it's your virtues, it's... Character means a man's nature or identity insofar as this is shaped by the moral values he accepts and automatizes. This seems a little circular. Character is... All right, fuck it. We're going this route. What is character? Oh, by the way, side note. I'm getting I don't know what you call it, some sort of adapter. I have a nicer camera. I'm using my webcam, and I've been using my webcam because this was the easiest way to start streaming. But I think hopefully by the end of today I'll be able to hook up my camera to OBS, and then you'll get a much nicer shot. Anyways, I'm very excited about that, so I just want to let you guys know. Anyways, all right, what is character? Okay. Character is a man's nature or identity insofar as this is shaped by the moral values he accepts and automatizes. By moral values, I mean values which are volitionally chosen and which are fundamental, i.e., shape the whole course of man's action, not merely a specialized, delimited area of his life. So a man's character is, in effect, his moral essence, his self-made identity as expressed in the principles he lives by. I'm still unclear on that, a little bit. I'm going to write this down, though. Oops. Okay. A man's character is a man's nature or identity insofar as this is shaped by the moral values he accepts and automatizes. So your character is the aspect of your nature that is shaped by the moral values you live by. By moral values, by moral values, I mean values which are volitionally chosen. So values I choose, and which are fundamental, i.e., shape the whole course of a man's action, not merely a specialized, delimited area of his life. Okay, so values you choose that affect your entire life, not just one area. So I guess you consistently practice these values across everything you do. So a man's character is, in effect, his moral essence, his self-made identity expressed in the principles he lives by. So character is your moral essence. That's an interesting way to put it. Character is moral essence. It is character is the sum of the moral principles you live by, and then how that shapes who you are, your identity. Interesting. What is this thing? Did that? So if we broke down this definition, just to be totally clear, it is, let's just say, oops. And let's put it into personal terms. Your the aspect of your character, the aspect of your identity that is shaped by the fundamental values you choose. So I guess it would be like, what, if you choose evil values, like I want to hurt people, I want to gain power so that I can control other people and make them do my bidding. I want to steal. I don't want to work for my livelihood. Whatever. These things that most people would consider evil or bad. That would shape your character and give you an evil character or an immoral one. Versus if you say, I'm going to, whatever you accept as moral, but in my case it would be like, I'm going to take my life seriously, I'm going to pursue happiness, I'm going to work hard and like be productive and be rational, be reasonable, whatever. Those values would shape your character in a positive way. It would make it so you have a moral character or a good character. Okay, I think that makes sense. And character is simply describing that effect, whether the effect the values you choose has on your identity. Your self-made identity expressed by the principles you live by. Man, that's a cool statement. Why do we need character? Like, do we need this thing? Well, I think it happens to us no matter what. Like, it's inescapable. Okay, let me finish writing this. Coding overload? That sucks. Okay. What exactly do we mean by identity? Do we mean psychological identity or philosophic identity? Because those are different things. I think we mean philosophic because this is a philosophy text. So that would make sense. Well, identity is just what something is. And you shape what. So you could think of it as like the aspect of who you are, like what you are, who you are, what you are, whatever, that is shaped by the fundamental values you choose. Okay. Great. Okay. I think I'm clear on the terms. Okay. Is it true? What is the conceptual logical chain that connects character to perception? Okay. Well, your character definitely has an effect on your psychology. Like in the back of your mind, if you have an understanding of right or wrong, or at least what you think is right or wrong, and even if you don't, well, let me back up. Because character, this is a very abstract thing. Like it doesn't, yeah. Character, it's a concept. It's abstract. I mean, we see people living like moral lives and other people living immoral lives, and from that, if they consistently do that, that will shape their character in such a way that they have an immoral or moral character, and that will be expressed in their actions. So, what the fuck does that mean? What did I just say? Okay, basically, all right, sorry, I'm kind of being a little rambly and a little probably unclear right now. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the referent for character? Like, so basically, in my understanding of philosophy, every concept, for it to be, I guess, rational or logical, it has to connect to some referent, physical referent in perception. So what would an example of this be? So like, okay, this is gonna be kind of silly, but oh god. All right, so I have this Chia Pet. See this Chia Pet? It's Bob Ross, because we love Bob Ross. And the Chia Pet, well actually no, that's a proper noun. Never mind, this was a shitty example. Let me think. What's a good example of this? Okay, I'm going to try something complicated. So take the concept of honesty. So honesty, you could think of it as not lying. You can also think of it as not faking reality or not faking facts, like not pretending that facts are other than what they are, living consistently with what is true. And I think that's a better definition. So clearly, you can see instances of people being honest, like on the perceptual level. When someone tells the truth, they're being honest. Likewise, when someone lies, like if your friend, I don't know, if you're like talking with your friend and he's like, and you're trying to like plan something, like, hey, let's go out this Tuesday. And he's like, oh, I've got plans, sorry. Like I have plans with other friends, and then you find out later that he didn't have plans with other friends. He lied. He was dishonest. That is an instance of dishonesty, and so because people do that, they act or they say things that aren't true, and they act in accordance with things that are not true. We create a concept from that called dishonesty, and the same thing for honesty. Like we see people who do say things that are true and do live in accordance with things that are with truth. And so we create a concept from those, like, I guess, instances. And that's honesty. So I'm trying to think, what is that for character? Like, what are examples of someone express? I mean, yeah, what are examples of what connects character? What gives rise to the need for the concept of character? Why do we need this? And I think, so clearly people can act in moral and immoral ways, unless you are a moral relativist or you just don't think morality exists, which in that case, I guess you wouldn't believe this. I think ethics or morality exists, and I do think it's objective. And so because of that, people can act in immoral ways or moral ways, and people can consistently act in immoral or moral ways. So, and that will shape their psychology, especially if they know what their morals are, and if they follow by a code of morality, and they're like, let's say someone consistently acts immoral, they steal, they lie, they cheat, they don't do things that are good, and they know, like, and they know that, oh yeah, these are shitty things, and I'm a shitty person, they're gonna feel like shit, at least deep down. They might suppress that, or I guess evade the feelings, but deep down they know, in the back of their mind, in their conscious, whatever you want to call it, they know, wow, I'm a piece of shit. I'm not a good person. That's their character. Like, I have a bad character. I have an immoral character, or you could even, in extreme cases, say I have an evil character. And that has a corresponding psychological effect on them. And you can encapsulate all of that in character. You have shitty character. And it like summarizes a whole pattern of behavior. I think that's what it is. Character summarizes a pattern of behavior. Now, of course, people are mixed. Like, but I think characters, like, it's the trend. So, like, of course, not everyone's always evil or good. Maybe some people are, but most people are in between. Like, sometimes they do good, sometimes they do bad. But character is just saying, what's the overall trend of this person? Are they generally consistently good or generally consistently bad? And whatever. So I think that's why we need the concept, is to describe this trend of a person's, I guess, ethical nature, or like how ethical a person is. And it's not even, I mean, in a sense, it's for describing other people, like, oh, that's a moral person, he has a good character. It's also for describing ourselves and our psychology, meaning, and identifying, oh, I consistently act in shitty ways. That's bad. I feel bad for doing that. I should stop doing that. And you can, I guess this concept helps you identify that very quickly. Because if you do a bad thing once, it's like, okay, well, I did a bad thing. Okay, I don't want to do that again. But it's not like especially if it's a minor thing, it's not a huge deal. But if it's a trend, that's a much bigger deal. And being aware of that is really powerful, because it alerts you to change your behavior and to whatever, fix your shit. Very long-winded, but that helps me, think through this. So, your values determine your character, because the moral values you accept, if you accept moral, good values, then you will, and you like live by those values, you will have a good character, and that will result in generally a good psychology, a positive, healthy mental health. Sorry, I'm going back. I went back to the original quote. That was a huge tangent on character, but I feel like I've clarified some things on that. So, okay, I'm going to reread the whole quote because we've been away from it for a while. The use or misuse of his cognitive faculty determines a man's choice of values. So the use or misuse, I think, reason, specifically free will, determines a man's choice of values, the values he chooses, and that determines his emotions, because emotions are responses to your values, and his character, because character is created by the values you choose and you acting to achieve those values. It is in this sense that man is a being of self-made soul. So self-made makes sense. That's the whole volition part. You choose. And because of that, you choose your character, you choose your values, you indirectly choose your emotions. Because emotions are a consequence of values, and you choose your values. The soul part, I think soul, what does soul mean in this? This is a secular philosopher, so. Okay, by soul, she means consciousness. So man is a being of self-made consciousness. And consciousness is the faculty of perceiving. I guess you choose your consciousness then? What does that mean? You choose, or you create your consciousness rather. You create, because I mean, what she describes values. Well, yes, the values, emotions, character, these are all aspects of consciousness. And because you choose all of those things, either directly or indirectly, you create your consciousness. Sort of. In a sense. You don't, I mean, of course, you don't like directly create your consciousness. It's something you just have. You're born with it. But you create these aspects of your consciousness. You create your character. You choose your values, and you indirectly choose your emotions. Okay, that all makes sense. To me, at least. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. All right, moving on. Okay. Okay, so Rand is getting into the importance of understanding the difference between the metaphysically given and the man-made. I don't know if we've defined metaphysically given or man-made yet. Metaphysically given are simply things that are and that would be the same without human interaction. So the way the planets are arranged in the solar system, that's a metaphysically given fact. It simply is. If humans were here, it would still be, the planets would still be arranged in the same way. Or if humans weren't here, the planets would still be arranged in the same way. And yeah, so it's something that is the same regardless of human involvement. Like whether humans are there or not there, this thing would be the same. And it's something that is not open to human choice. You have to accept it uncritically, which sounds kind of weird. You can't analyze like why are the planets the way they, or why are the planets in the solar system arranged in the way they are? There's no reason. Well, I mean maybe, well, yeah, I don't think you can ask the reason. They simply are. You definitely you can't ask the question, could they have been otherwise? Well, no, they couldn't have been otherwise. They simply are. I don't think. What's another example? I guess like genetics maybe. Like your genetics is a metaphysical metaphysically given fact. Like, they are what they are. You were born with them. You can't control them. You can't change them. They are not under the influence of human choice. Now, whatever. If you want to make an epigenetic argument or something like that, whatever. But, like, you can't change your genetics. At least not at this point. Now, with the advent of technology, you might be able to, but right now, you can't. And what your genetics are at this current state, that's a metaphysically given fact, and you have to accept it. It is what it is. The man-made is a fact that could have been otherwise. So that would be like human institutions, like the fact that we have, I don't know, that Harvard exists. Harvard could have not existed, or it could have been named something else, or it could have been built in a different place, or whatever. That's subject to choice because humans created it. Likewise for any institution, for the government we have right now, for various businesses, like Amazon. I don't know. Amazon didn't, like, Jeff Bezos did not need to form Amazon. Could have chosen not to, but he chose to form it and create it and whatever. So basically, metaphysically given is what it is. Couldn't have been otherwise. Man-made is caused by human choice. Could have been otherwise. So the metaphysically given, because it couldn't have been otherwise, you just have to accept it. It is what it is, whatever. Man-made, you need to assess very critically because we can err. We're not omniscient. A lot of times we're fucking stupid. So you have to analyze the man-made, like, yeah, you have to analyze the man-made. So, and if you get these two things confused, then bad things happen because you try analyzing the metaphysically given. That's pointless. You don't analyze the man-made. That's bad because it could be wrong or it could be improved. So if you mix these two things up, you're going to waste your time and probably fuck up your psychology a little bit because you're going to be like, if you're trying to change the metaphysically given and you keep failing, you're going to feel like shit. Wow, I suck. I can't do this thing that I should be doing. I can't, whatever. I can't. What would be an example? This might be a bad example, but if you're like a kid and you're like, or younger, and you're like, man, I'm going to like look up all these hacks to improve my height. Well, height's largely genetic. You can sort of influence it with diet. As long as you're meeting like a nutritional basis, you can achieve your potential of height. But like past a certain point, if your growth plates are closed, I think your height is what it is, bro. Like, and trying to change it, it's like, fuck. It's pointless. And it's pointless to worry about. It is what it is, bro. That might be a silly example, but hopefully you get the point. Versus like the man-made, I don't know, if you have like a really shitty government that's like, if you live in like a dictatorship and you're like, yep, this is what it is, and you just accept it, I can't change it. Like literally, I can't change it. It is what it is, and you believe that it's physically impossible to change it. Well, then you have no chance of changing your government at all, and you're simply going to live a pretty shitty political existence. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, so she's getting into, what is she getting into? Yeah, we can make errors, and we can be, okay. So basically, we have to judge the man-made, but this is an interesting point. The standard of judging the man-made is the metaphysically given. I don't totally know what that means, but we're going to get into it. The metaphysically given cannot be true or false. It simply is. That's weird. All right, I'm basically going to quote this whole paragraph. So let me read it first. The metaphysically given cannot be true or false. It simply is. And man determines the truth or falsehood of his judgments by whether they correspond or contradict the facts of reality, i.e., the metaphysically given. The metaphysically given cannot be right or wrong. It is the standard of right or wrong by which a rational man judges his goals, values, his values, his choices. The metaphysically given is, was, will be, and had to be. So, how do I simplify this? The metaphysically given, something, it simply is, and you can't ask the question, is this thing true or false? It simply is, and the metaphysically given is the standard by which you determine if something is true or false. That's what you refer to. What would be an example? I think she's going to get into examples later. Can I give an example? Let me think. I'm going to write down this quote first and see if I can come up with examples. I'll be right back. I need to get something. Whoop. Ow. All right, I'm back. Had to get some paper towels. Bob's leaking a little bit. We gotta clean him up. Okay. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's try and break down this quote. The metaphysically given cannot be true or false. It simply is. So it simply is. It is self-evident. Truth or false do not apply to it, to the metaphysically given, because the concepts of true or false depend on the metaphysically given. Okay, what the hell does that mean? Like, concretize that. Give an example. So, let's think of like the science, right? Science is all about creating hypotheses, running experiments, and trying to discover truth. Oh, timer went off. Damn. All right. Okay. So, I have to hop off, guys, because I have a meeting to get to in a little bit. So, tomorrow, we're going to lead off with trying to concretize the metaphysically given in a much more clear way. So, looking forward to that. Thank you guys for showing up. And again, this is my second week of streaming, so we're still figuring things out. Again, hopefully tomorrow I'll have a new setup so that it's not my webcam, it's like an actual nice high quality video. And I'm also getting like I don't know what you call it, like a standing mic, not this, because I don't know if the audio quality is super consistent with this. Also, I just think it would be cool to have a mic. So we're gonna experiment with that, but anyway, so making more improvements as we go along. So thank you guys for showing up, and hopefully I'll see y'all same or similar time tomorrow. Okay, bye.